Hey everybody, it's Dr. 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙀 of Everybody's Chiropractic and Wellness here in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and we are continuing our Wake Up video series. Today we're going to be talking about the safety pin cycle. We use this in a lot of our talks to help people better understand how the body works and how the brain controls the body. So, I just happened to have borrowed this safety pin from the Paul Bunyan family so we can illustrate how the body works. So up here we've got the brain. It'll send messages down the spinal cord out to every organ, tissue, and cell of the body, and then the body will send messages back up to the brain informing it of what's going on. When this system is all closed and the messages are going back and forth at 100%, then you're going to have the best level of health you possibly can. Unfortunately, due to stressors, and we're going to talk about this in a future video in this series, these stressors will cause an interruption or disruption or break open this chain of flow of information. So what happens is that the body can no longer get the important messages from the brain that it's supposed to, and those parts of the body, wherever that nerve goes to, no longer functions at 100%. It's in a state of disease or breakdown. And it takes a long time for breakdown to occur, and we'll talk about this in another video about the principle of time, before we ever start to see any signs or symptoms of this breakdown. Now, as a chiropractor, we are specifically trained to find these breakdowns in communication and get it replaced so that the body can begin to function at a higher level once again. It's just that simple. So let's use the spine and we'll use the stomach. This happens to be a life-size model of a stomach, and if you see, it's about the size of your fist. So think about that next time you're eating a 5-course meal of what you're doing to yourself. But enough on that. Let's talk about how the body works. Your brain will send messages back and forth to the stomach. So when you eat a meal, the stomach sends messages back up the spinal cord to the brain to tell the brain, hey brain, we've got some food here. The brain in turn will send messages back down to the stomach to tell it to perform several functions. One of which is churning, because there's muscular layers in the stomach. It'll churn the food up and will also secrete hydrochloric acid. Now, the hydrochloric acid is meant to break down the food that's in the stomach. Once this process has been completed and the food passes out of the stomach will then send a message back up to the brain saying there's no more food here. Then the brain will send a message back down to the stomach to say, okay, stop the churning, stop secreting the hydrochloric acid, and now what we need to do is we need to secrete a buffer to neutralize the acid in the stomach so we don't get heartburn or indigestion or reflux. When these lines of communication are open at 100%, then everything's going to work properly. You're going to have proper digestion, you're going to achieve the benefits of the food that you're eating, and you're not going to have any problems with your stomach. And the same holds true for all these other nerves and all the other organs of the body. So the goal of the chiropractor is to make sure that this information flows at 100% from the day you're born to the day you die. If you have any questions about this or you already have some problems, it's a warning sign. Your body's telling you there's a problem. Don't ignore it. Get checked. You can give us a call at the office here at 610-337-3700. We'll be happy to answer any questions, and we'll also help you to get scheduled for an appointment. You can check us out on the web at helpmedrsteve.com, and Doctor is Dr. You can check out my YouTube page, which is Everybody's Chiropractic and Wellness. And you can also check out our Facebook page, Dr. 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙀 and Everybody's Chiropractic and Wellness. And until next time, Dr. 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙀, have a great day.